Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Football Beer. That is why we're here. And I'm Chuck. He's Dave. And we're getting you ready for another weekend of NFL playoff football. It is the divisional round. And yeah, so hey, good morning, Dave. Welcome to Football Saturday.
Yeah, man. Good morning. It has been a long morning for me. I've been up since 3 a.m. I had to take my wife to the San Diego airport this morning, and she is going on a business trip all next week and this weekend in Florida. So, yeah, I've been up. I've been up and moving about, and so I almost feel like it's appropriate time how long I've been up that I can have a beer since I've been up for hours and hours. Comparatively, when we normally do this on Sundays at 9, I'm up for about a half an hour before I have a beer. I've been up for hours and hours. So, yeah, very excited for this weekend's playoffs. We get to, see who moves on here to the NFC and AFC championship weekend, and my team's still in it. So, real excited weekend.
Yeah, no, it was some really good football last week. One game just really was a bummer for me and the person whose comment is down on the bottom of the screen. Obviously, the third largest comeback, second half comeback in NFL history, with the Jags screwing me once again, as they do every week. Um, that was a tough game. But good morning, Kim. Thank you for joining the show, and always good to see you here. So. Um, but yeah, so you're up. You've been on the road a long time this morning down to San Diego and back, and you've been up a while. So what is the brew that you've chosen for today?
I'm going with one of our friends, our local favorites. Shout out to Beth Marks, our friend that got a promotion at the start of this year with
Hmm.
Belching Beaver. She
Nice.
is now in a regional marketing, I believe, director. She even gets to drive a nice Belching Beaver mobile that has the branding all over the automobile. She'll be driving to and from work. So I selected this in honor of her promotion, and this one's out of Oceanside. They brewed it, and it's the PB&J Blonde.
Mm.
So it is only a 5.5%, so not too heavy. It has a nice color. I just poured it. Haven't tried it yet. Got my Belching Beaver glass here, of course. Damn good times. Very good. So, if you know Belching Beaver beers, you know they make an amazing peanut butter stout. They have several different kind of stouty peanut butter beer, or yeah, peanut butter beers. This is the only one that I know of is that's a little lighter, like an ale. So if you're not a big stout fan, you can still enjoy that peanut butter flavor. And when I was at the brewery last, I got to talk to one of the head brewers, and they were telling me that they have a patent actually on the peanut butter flavor that they use for their peanut butter beers. So no other
Really?
brewery gets to use it. It's exclusive for Belching Beaver. So if you really like their peanut butter beers, it's not like anyone else's because they have an exclusive peanut butter flavor that they use. And this is a good option for you if you do not like stouts, but you like that peanut butter flavored beer.
Nathan says that Uncle Bear's makes a great peanut butter porter as well. I do like Belching Beaver. I mean, I think that's kind of one of their signatures from
Mhm.
early on. It was that peanut butter stout, and they've obviously been getting a lot more creative with their flavors over the years, and really becoming more of a name. I mean, I think Belching Beaver is becoming. I mean, it's always kind of been around, but I think they're more prominent now. Um, in the beer world, if you will. Well, I went to Trader Joe's this morning because it was open before Bevmo and Total Wine, and so I thought, oh, I'll go see what they've got on the shelf there. And we've got a small Trader Joe's here, and I bought this beer only for the name. I mean, it's definitely, I like my porters and stouts, and it is, but basically, that's out of Santan Brewing here in Arizona, but it's called Sex Panther, and it is a double chocolate porter. And so I've never, obviously never had this before. I have had some of Santan Brewing's beer, but Yeah, so got it in my iron fist glass to turn it around, but the head's kind of already gone down a little bit. Wasn't much when I poured it, but um, oh, that's pretty that's pretty good. A lot lighter than a porter, I would think, but it's a 6.9 ABV, and but yeah, so you know, what are they gonna get back in there and Sex Panther? It's just it's just one of those cool names like Steel Panther, the band, right? Steel Panther. It's just kind of got a good name. Didn't buy it for any other reason. I did buy a 6 pack of red because it was like $5.99. I think it's called Drive Through Red. Yeah, I've never had that one before. It's out of San Jose, and but so I was going back and forth. Since I got up this morning, I put two in the freezer, or one of each in the freezer, and I'm like, I'll decide just before the show which one I'm going to go with. And Sex Panther
Who's
is the winner.
who's that actor you don't like that plays Ant-Man?
Oh, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, so if you remember in Anchorman, he uses a cologne called Sex Panther, and
Oh,
he says 60% of the time it works every time.
every time.
Yeah, and
I
he like makes the office like run out throwing up because it smells so bad. Sex Panther
we
was his cologne from that movie.
This is so off topic, but we just finished watching a series. I think it was on Apple TV. Um, Next Door Neighbor, something like it's Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd, and Paul Rudd is a psychiatrist, and it's based
Oh
on a true
yeah.
story,
Hmm.
and so the whole once you get about you know you get several episodes in, you see what's going to happen, and so it's just to me we said that my family knows that I'm not a fan of Paul Rudd, and uh, and I struggle with Jason Bateman also. Um, but I do like him in Ozarks. But I struggle with Jason. They're just it's like their role is always the same. They always are the same person in any movie. And so anyway, the way it was going, and I'm like, I told Dylan and Leo, you know what? This is just a solidify. This TV show absolutely solidifies that Paul Rudd is a douche. And that's just every time, and you see it, and it ends that way even, and it's just like, yep, that's who I think Paul Rudd is in real life. So they're sitting there googling, is Paul Rudd, is he bad? And not one negative story.
I've
You
heard
can't
he's
find
the
one negative
nicest. I've
story
heard he's
about
the
this.
nicest guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard he's a great guy.
so I feel like crap, but it's still the same. It's like, oh, are you serious? We're gonna watch a Paul Rudd show? Anyway, a little bit of a rabbit trail there. Sorry, Paul Rudd, but I know you're not watching the show because not many people do. But here we are. We are here today. Thank you, Kim, for giving me my some laughs in the morning. So hey, we do have some football today, and before we do get into that and continue enjoying our selected brews of the day, so we had our picks last week. I still got to work on. We're using a new software, by the way, folks. And the way the screen share works, this isn't really big. So anyway, so after the super wild card weekend, really nothing changed. We both went 4-2, and so I still have a 9-game advantage on you, Dave.
I
Is there
can't
nine?
catch you.
Yeah,
No,
it's in the bag.
it's in the bag.
I should have saw that and had
Yeah.
my videos ready. So next week I'll do a little celebration dance maybe.
Hmm.
But it was a tough year for both of us. Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
well, you won,
Um,
but we both sucked.
all my picks to win was done. I don't know why the bottom part of that didn't show up. Everybody's showing up again. Oh, there it is. So yeah, so a whole new week, and we'll get through. I think we've got 4 games on tap for this weekend. Some good football last week, and I guess as we kind of get into some of these, we can maybe analyze what we might have seen last week and what to look for this week. I know you've done a lot of analysis. I've seen already, getting ready for this week. But so first game on tap today. AFC divisional game, Jags Chiefs. Chiefs obviously are at home, better team. Had their coming off their bye, but they're favored at home by 9 points over the Jags. And it was a drumming last time. I mean, they played a pretty close game, but I think it was within 9 points the first time. But yeah, I mean, Chiefs. I have a problem with this because, as I've said every single week on the show, the Jags have screwed me. We both picked the Chargers last week, and I at halftime I was saying it's a trap, folks. In my head, do not buy into 27-0. Just don't buy into this. When it was a 27-0 lead, and just before half, I think they scored. This is this third biggest comeback in NFL history for the Jags. What a letdown by the Chargers. Obviously, Brandon Staley's going to keep his job, but I think they just the Chargers were just super vanilla in the second half. Their defense, I mean, in the first half played outstanding. I mean, gave up some wide open touchdown passes in the second half, but you can't drop this on the defense. I mean, the offense has got to score some points. Obviously, Nick Bosa with the penalty gave them a chance to just go ahead and go for the two. Then that would have maybe changed it, but who knows who would have won in overtime? So, any thoughts on that? Before, I mean, obviously, I kind of went backwards here, I suppose, just because I hate the Jags.
Yeah, I mean, they were just that mystery team against the spread for us this year. I could never pick the right week when they were going to win or lose, and just it was terrible to see the Chargers blow that lead and lose, especially being down here in Charger country. Obviously we have Kim here that's a Charger fan, her daughter Amber, have other family and friends obviously that are big Charger fans. So that was a hard loss for them. You lose to that young Jaguars team, young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. That was hard to watch going forward this week. I mean, the Chiefs have played the Jags already this season in Week 10. Chiefs won 27-17, so it wasn't a huge blowout. It was 10 points, which, the spread today is 9, so that kind of matches what they won by when they played this season. In that game in Week 10, Mahomes threw for 331 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did have an interception. And the Chiefs actually did have 3 turnovers to the Jaguars' 0 and still beat them. So that whole theory of whoever has the fewest turnovers wins didn't seem to affect the Chiefs in Week 10. So one thing that the Jags really struggled with that we'll have to look at for them better today is they only rushed for 75 total yards. They did not run the ball very well against the Chiefs when they played them. Also, the Chiefs had 5 sacks on defense. Jaguars didn't have any, so they weren't able to get any pressure on Mahomes. The only bright point for the Jags really that stood out was Christian Kirk had a big game. He had 2 touchdowns over 100 yards last time they played. But, so stats aside, they kind of gave the Chiefs the spread of what they beat them already this year with. And I don't know. If I'm picking, I'm probably picking the Chiefs to win by that much again, just because the Chiefs aren't the Chargers. If the Chiefs get up 20, the Chiefs probably stay up 20 or extend it to 28. Right. So, I'm going to go Chiefs. Chiefs big time. Chiefs have been in the AFC Championship. I think if they win this game today, it'll be like their 5th season in a row that they've been in the AFC Championship game. So Mahomes just knows how to get there, so I'm not betting against Mahomes at home for sure against the Jaguars team.
Yeah, I want to take the Chiefs here, but I'm afraid if I take the Chiefs, the Jags are going to win. I should be taking the Jags just to secure that. I mean, they've screwed my picks every single week this year. I think, but got to do the right thing. Chiefs at home. Coming off a bye, sometimes that's a bit of a curse, but I don't think it will be for Mahomes and Kelsey and all of them. So Chiefs by 9, shouldn't be a problem here. And you want to be dominant going into your championship game. So our NFC selection of the day is the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants pulled off a big upset over the Minnesota Vikings last week, which I did pick the Giants, and in that game. So, but the Eagles are favorite home, and they put what was it, like 48-22, I think, the last time they played. But it was a much closer game the first time. Giants, I think, are playing a little bit better ball, but I got to take the Eagles here. I think the Eagles have a real shot at this thing this year, where they're sitting right now. So I'm taking the Eagles at home by 7.5.
That's a big spread. I mean, yeah, only one of the games this year was a 6 point game. But the Giants sat a lot of their starters in that game, so that is a big deal. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna take the Eagles at 7.5. They're rolling. It's, it's yeah, they're just rolling this year, and they kind of seem to be on top of the game. They had the one seed in the NFC, so obviously they're playing well. Um, and it'll be fun to see because these are divisional teams. So yeah, they've already played twice this year. They've played in total in the history of the two teams 182 times since
Wow.
1933. But surprisingly, they've only played all those years since 1933. They've only met each other in the playoffs 4 times, and they're 2-2. So they've each won two of
Okay.
those matches. The Giants won the first ones, which were in '81 and 2001. The Eagles have won the more recent ones in '07 and '09. Um, so that being said, since the Eagles have been winning the ones more recent and they're the better team this year, yeah, let's chalk up another one for the Eagles and put them at 3-2 with the playoff record against the Giants all time. And I just see the Eagles having too much talent on both sides of the ball compared to the Giants. So yeah, I'm taking Eagles also.
Yeah. That'll be a good game. I think all the games this weekend are going to be good games. I mean, the Chiefs Jags should be a one-sided affair, but I really think 3 out of the 4. I mean, again, the Jags. I say that, and then they come back and they do stupid crap like they did last week. But anyway, Bengals Bills. Here's you know, uh, this is probably this was probably one of the games of the weekend because the Bengals have finally they struggled at the beginning of the season. And we thought, are they pulling a Los Angeles Rams? Just got the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl, and gonna just lay down this year. But they've actually been playing really good football at the end of the season, and this should be a really good game. I don't know that I trust 5.5 points in this game. I think that's a lot. I what do you see here?
Yeah, this will be really interesting. I mean, there'll be so many emotions because they were, the last time they were supposed to play, that was when Damar Hamlin, kind of had his cardiac arrest there on the field and the game was canceled. So there's going to be a lot of storyline here, a lot of emotion. Um, the Bills, other than the 49ers, the Bengals, other than the 49ers, have the longest win streak currently in the NFL. So, I mean, I think the 49ers have won like 10 in a row and the Bengals have won like 9 in a row. So, Bengals haven't been used to losing lately. And this is when they ramped up at the end of last season and surprised everyone and made the Super Bowl. So it's hard to count them out. I'm kind of surprised that the spread is 5.5. I mean, because I think really we could see one of those ultimate, instant classic NFL playoff games where this is won by a field goal at the end of the game. Um,
Right.
so for that reason, I think if I had to pick on the spread, I would maybe pick the Bengals. But I think the Bills will win this game at home. But I think maybe they just win by a field goal, and this could definitely be the last team that has the ball wins the game. These teams have only played twice in the playoffs before. Both of the times were in the 80s, 1981 and 88. 88 was the AFC Championship, and both games were played in Cincinnati. So the Bengals have never played the Bills in Buffalo in the playoffs. So the Bills have that good home field advantage. So like I said, I'm going to take the Bills to win, but I don't know if they win by 5.5.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. This when the game was suspended last time, I believe the Bengals had the lead, and really with just a
Yeah.
little bit of the game that we had seen, the Bengals looked really strong in that game, and kind of had the Bills on their heels. It was like um, it was a unique perspective if you just look at how much of that game was played and where it ended, and you have to give advantage. You would think you have to give advantage to the Bengals. And I, I think the Bills win, but I agree. I think this is a closer game, and it comes down to kind of like what ended up with the Chargers Jags. Who had the ball last, and that was going to be the Jags getting down there to either kick the field goal and tie or go for it too. I mean, they were in the best position to win the game. So, yeah. So I'm unfortunately taking the Bengals on the spread, but I think the Bills win the game. Nathan did pick the Bills, but he wants the Bengals to take the Super Bowl. So I would be okay with either one. And but I think early on we both kind of had the Bills going pretty deep into this, and so we'll just kind of stick with that. But so that's your first NFC. That is your first AFC divisional game tomorrow. Your game of the day, I'm sure, for Dave is the last game of the week. And that is the NFC divisional game. Cowboys are going to the Bay Area to play your 49ers. And this guy, Purdy, that could could absolutely destroy every future semblance of the Cowboys forever and ever, where, we've got Dak Prescott and Elliott and Pollard and everything else, and we're America's team, and you let this young kid come in. I mean, it's not just this young kid. I mean, it's the whole team. But this kid, Purdy, has absolutely. Honestly, I didn't say this early enough after like his cup, just his first or second win, is that I honestly think it's just the system that they have in San Francisco, because Trey Lance was doing all right, Garoppolo was doing good, Purdy is, everybody slipped into the system where you didn't change the team. And I did actually say this, I think maybe last week we were talking about it, that the NFL is going to have to be, every NFL team is probably going to have two starters, starter quality quarterbacks that can run the system. And I think that's what San Francisco has. And this is our system, and we're going to hire talent that fits that system. Unlike, hey, Kyler Murray is our number one, and this is our system. Look, he's out. Now we have Colt McCoy, who's more of a pocket passer, slinger. Now we got to change it. That's not what the San Francisco 49ers do. And I think that they just have they say, this is our system. We're finding the players that fit our system, not we're going to change our system to the players. I mean, sometimes you have to. Obviously, to be a great coach, you have to. But yeah, so I think Purdy is fitting into the system very well, and is adapted. 49ers are favored by 4. I have no problem taking that 4. Cowboys. I mean, there's been so much hype about the Cowboys this week, and it's like you beat a team that really did suck all year. They were 8-9. I don't care if you're playing the GOAT, and I did pick the Bucs last week, and you picked the Cowboys, but you exposed a really bad team. Okay, they've been bad all year. So and they're riding high, and I like that they're riding high, because I think I think reality is gonna set in this year, or this week, tomorrow, and they'll be sent home. So Nathan's taking the Winers also, and then our local boy. Yeah, so getting through these comments here. Cowboys fans have not been this excited since the release of Brokeback Mountain. Oh gosh, I downloaded so many memes yesterday of the Cowboys. There were so many that were so funny. But tell me about what you think about this game. Never count your chickens before they are hatched. Yeah, but I mean, the Cowboys, honestly, when you look at them playing, against other good teams, they've lost. So they're in a fortunate position right now, and I just think that their season's going to end after tomorrow. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch these quarterbacks. Dak's been up and down. Definitely had his down moments this season, so I kind of hope he has that tomorrow. I do believe we'll be able to get some pressure on him. We have, if you're going to rely on Pollard and Elliott, good luck because we have the number one run defense in the league. So we get to the ball real well with our linebackers. Fred Warner, amazing middle linebacker to get to the ball on run plays. And then yeah, the quarterbacks, like you're saying, Purdy. One of the reasons he has so much success is he doesn't have to do a ton. We run the ball a lot. We run the ball well. We run a lot of misdirection. We run, a lot of screen passes with our receivers. We run a lot of screens with everybody, running backs, tight ends. So he's not like he's having to launch the ball down the field. We basically have three routes. Our receivers run screen route. They run across the field routes. So deep slants or longer slant routes. And then we run basically Kittle on a tight end seam. Or we match him one-on-one, in certain situations. And that's about it. He does not have to run through a million pass plays. He does not have to throw, many passes down the field if he doesn't need to. Usually they open themselves up because our run game allows that to open up off of play action so we can get, some guys through the scheme to run down and through. Um, and I just think, that they do have Micah Parsons on Dallas Cowboys. He's a very good defensive player, but if that's all who we have to worry about, I'm not too worried, and I feel like our defense will really help us out at home and limit what Dallas can do on offense. And this Purdy kid, I mean, he's shown he's thrown 3 touchdown passes in a game multiple times so far in his handful of games he's played. So he can throw touchdowns when he has to. So, got to root for him. Like Nathan said, he was like Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of high school. So you Arizonians should be kind of rooting for this Brock Purdy kid. Not to mention, it's going to be, if what happens, what I hope happens, and this kid gets us to the Super Bowl. I mean, we're talking about what, Kurt Warner type level story almost. We're talking about Tom Brady, 6th round, even better than Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't the last pick of the draft. He wasn't even in the 7th round. He was in the 6th round, but he has won 7 Super Bowls. So, Purdy would have one of the most remarkable stories we've ever seen in this league if he can continue to just play solid ball. That's all he has to do. I mean, he has to throw a decent percentage and not turn the ball over. And, and he's got a good shot. So he doesn't have to be a hero. He just needs to do what he's asked. The defense needs to just keep playing solid defense. The plays will happen. And, I think we do get this win today at home. So I hate the Cowboys. And the only reason I mainly hate the Cowboys is because they always, when we've had a chance in the playoffs, it's the 49ers have been knocked out by the Cowboys for so many times, so many years. We've met 8 times in the playoffs against the Cowboys, and not since 1933, like the Giants and Eagles. So, it started in the 70s, and most of them were to go to the Super Bowl. So in 70, Dallas beat us to go to the Super Bowl. 71, Dallas beat us to go to the Super Bowl. 72, Dallas won in the divisional round against us. In 81, we finally beat them to go to the Super Bowl. 92, Dallas beat us again, kind of ended our little dynasty we had in the 80s. And that was to go to the Super Bowl. 93, the same thing, beat us again. So 2 years, early 90s, they beat us to go to the Super Bowl. And then finally in 94, after they beat us in 2 NFC championship games, we finally beat them to go to the Super Bowl. So, and then last year we beat them in the wild card round. But there's so much history of NFC championship games with Dallas and the 49ers, which Dallas leads us 5-3 all time. So we win this game tomorrow. We catch up by 1. We're almost even, but they still have the record on us in the playoffs. But I need to see that gap shortened, and I think it will be. And I'll be watching your grandsons during the game. So, E-Money will be running around my living room while I'm watching the Niner game. Wesley and Jaden probably won't even know football's going on. They'll be outside or upstairs playing video games or outside running around with lightsabers. Um, but yeah, I look forward to watching this with your grandson tomorrow. Money. I'll send you some pictures. Maybe I'll put some 49er gear on him.
Ah, there you go. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I gotta get this kid some gear. Uh, Nathan says he'd like to actually see the Cowboys go and lose by a last-second field goal. I actually would not like to see this because, to me, that's too big a win.
I
Oh,
don't
well,
know what
obviously
that
the
must be.
49ers would lose, but to me, this is too big of a win. Look at how much hype just in the last week there's been for the Cowboys and their one playoff victory, right? And it's like we're the best. Yeah. No, I mean, there's just so much hype going on around the Cowboys right now, and it just needs to come back. They play a good team, they lose to a good team. Season's done. It's the way it's supposed to happen, and Jerry Jones can continue to tweet things out to hey, if you're in the stands and can kick, come on down. We got a jersey for you. That's pretty bold. Just feel sorry for this Brett Maher kid, but
He's a good kicker. He had a really good season. He just had a bad extra point game, but he's a good kicker. He had a good season. He just had a terrible game the wrong time.
yeah. So really a lot of good stuff going on this weekend. A lot of good games. Finkel, is that the new kicker? Or I don't
Uh,
know. I I don't know who Finkel is. But yeah, no, it that 49er game, obviously, okay. It's probably going to be your game of the week. But if you had to pick another game of the week, this going in, what is it and why?
oh, Bengals Bills for sure, just because how the last game played at the end of the season. Plus, you have great young quarterbacks. Burrows, Allen. That should be a really good game. Like I said, I would expect that to be maybe a last second field goal or whoever gets the ball last wins that game.
Yeah. Lucy from Charlie Brown must be their kicker holder. Yeah, that was. There it is.
I
Jeez.
got you covered,
Look,
Nate. I got you covered, man.
well, I will be part of the first game. Well, no, actually, I think they're on later in the day, aren't they? Um, I'll be golfing in the morning,
1:30.
going up to Bel Air with the tailgate guys and the tailgate crew. We're going golfing in the morning, and we're gonna get some of that in, and yeah, that'll be fun. But it's been freaking cold here. It's in the 30s today, this morning. It's ridiculous. So anyway, any last thoughts? I mean, hey, this is a quick show because there aren't as many games to really look at. And this week and next week we'll be looking at two, and they're not right. Yep, down to two. And Belching Beavers PB&J. And what was that one? It's yeah, but Nate, that's yeah, we're gonna go play Bel Air in the morning and get a quick round in. I like that course. It's a fun course. It's more of an executive course, but a little fun par three, challenging par three, and they place the bunkers well, and their greens are kind of undulating. So nice, challenging course. And so yeah, but what 27 here this morning. Yeah, so yeah, but that's the Pacific Northwest. So that's to be expected. I live in Arizona. It's supposed to be 100 degrees every day during the. So actually, I'm looking forward to it because we've got just about a month, and spring training is going to kick up. Games are. Oh, we lost Dave. Games are spring training games kick off the kind of last day of February. So I'm looking forward to that because the last couple of years we've had friends coming down to go to spring training from Oregon and Washington. So I'm looking forward to seeing some family, seeing some friends, and checking out some spring training games around the area here. I don't know what happened to Dave. I guess he got his picks in and says, I'm out. That being up at 3:30 in the morning, I guess, to take his wife to the airport takes it out of you. But anyway, and he was having internet issues this week, so we'll see what's going on. But anyway, folks, I hope you all have a fantastic football weekend. Hope all of you, let's do a game together. Absolutely, Nathan. I'd love to meet up with you, man. We keep talking, maybe some golf or something. I think you're, yeah. So, Yeah, let's get together, do a game. We've each year we've been here. We've been going to more and more spring training games and around the area. So absolutely, man, let's do it. Let's stay in touch. All right, everyone. On behalf of Dave, who is now just an avatar, I hope you all have a fantastic football weekend, and we're going to see you all back here next week. Probably another Saturday show. So if there's a Saturday game, obviously we're going to get in. And no, there's Dave. Let's get him back in here real quick. Oh, there he is. Let's get me back to this one. I just thought, man, you got your picks and you're checking out, man.
No, Jerry Jones came to the door. I just had to kick a couple over the house. But he saw the shirt though, and he was like, probably wrong. Sorry, wrong house. Wrong.
So I was just closing the show, man. So everyone have a fantastic week. On behalf of Dave, we'll see you here next week. If there's a Saturday game, we'll do a Saturday show. And so we'll see you all back for championship weekend.
It's my favorite weekend of the year. Who's going to make it?
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you all next week. Bye now.